Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, people, we're into fight week. So it's fight week for Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. Come about fairly quick, hasn't it? And now it's a good time because now we're kind of getting into where the boxing schedule is starting to look good. There's obviously more fights that are going to be announced. So we're starting to go on a nice little run where we're getting more and more boxing, we're getting more and more good fights, and I think this is a good fight, I really do. Now, Liam Smith, I think he said it way back in September. It might have been even, I think it was September or August, when he signed with Boxer and Ben Shalom. The primary reason and the primary selling point really was this Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Now, obviously, Eubank Jr. signed to fight Conor Benn. Conor Benn failed the drugs test, so that fight didn't happen. So then they were kind of in a rush to see who they could get him in there with, and obviously this made the most sense. And I like this fight. I do. I think that this fight is going to be entertaining. I see a lot of people who are going with Liam Smith to win. A lot of people saying it's going to be competitive. I definitely think there's going to be moments in this fight where Liam Smith will be competitive. But the more I think about this fight, the more I kind of see it as being a foregone conclusion that Eubank Jr. is going to win. And I'll tell you why. So, Eubank Jr., now, going into this fight, he will have been out of the ring nigh on a year. As near as makes no difference, a year. His last fight, he fought Liam Williams. Similar-ish style, I would say that Liam Smith is a better pressure fighter than Liam Williams. He's obviously beaten Liam Williams twice. The first one was a very competitive fight until Liam Williams got the cut. The second one, he did beat him handily enough on points. Liam Smith, I'd say, is probably the best pressure fighter that Eubank Jr. has fought. Having said that, Eubank, throughout his career, when he's fought people of a similar style to Liam Smith, the come forward pressure fighters who like to have a high guard, like to square their shoulders up a bit, he's tend to feasted upon them. Realistically, is the best word you can use. He's been in his element. I think people look at Eubank Jr. and even prior to his hooking up with Roy Jones, they underestimate his ability on the back foot. He is very good on the back foot. He's able to walk these guys onto shots, and if we look at him against Liam Williams, the fact of the matter was he was able, and Eubank was able to drop Liam Williams several times, I think it was 3 times, with jabs, right? Now, it's not uncommon for fighters to get dropped with jabs, but the people who normally do drop fighters with jabs, Larry Holmes comes to mind, Buster Douglas, they're known for having very good jabs. Ramrod jabs. Kovalev is another example. They're known for having absolute ramrod, buster face-up type jabs. Eubank Jr. wasn't known for that. But you can see his counter-punching ability on the back foot has improved, certainly under Roy Jones. I don't necessarily... it's hard to say, is he hitting harder? I think his timing is better. I think his technique is better. The power is improved. And I think when he fought Liam Williams, I genuinely think each time he caught Liam Williams a bit surprised. And you could argue Liam Williams' punch resistance wasn't the same after being hit so much by Demetrius Andre. You can certainly make that case, definitely. But I think that he's going to do something similar against Liam Williams. or Liam Smith, I should say. I think that Liam Smith, when I look at his fight against Fowler, 2 things come to mind. And Liam Smith can do this. He can start slow at times. And he did against Fowler. He started a bit slow. Fowler was actually able to get a bit of a lead early on in that fight. And what Fowler was doing was he was literally just keeping it at range. He was boxing. He was looking to counter Liam Smith. And then Liam Smith was looking to come in, apply pressure, and actually punch with Anthony Fowler and try and land some short shots. Now, in the short term, it was benefiting Fowler because he was fresh. He was able to land his shots. He was able to counter Liam Smith. Liam Smith was throwing a pretty lazy jab in that fight. He was actually able a few times in the first round to counter over that jab and hit a right hand on Liam Smith. Now, again, it's hard to know. I would say, just judging by both fighters, although Anthony Fowler is not at Eubank's level, I would say he's probably a more heavy-handed fighter than Eubank Jr. It's not to say Eubank Jr. can't punch, he can, but I'd say Fowler has a bit more brute force in his shots. And we saw Liam Smith get stunned a couple of times in that fight. Now, if he's doing that against Eubank, although Eubank probably doesn't have the power of Fowler, I'd say in speed-wise, he is faster. He's more athletic, and he definitely has the faster combinations. I think he's going to run into trouble, Liam Smith, if he does that. Now, what Liam Smith did so well in that fight was what he always does. He applies effective pressure. And the pressure Liam Smith applies, he's on you like White is to Rice, if that makes sense. But he's on you like White is to Rice, but he's not wasting his work. He'll apply pressure on you. He'll be right in your face, but sometimes he won't be punching. But you're having to work hard. You're having to actually punch and try and keep Liam Smith off him. But you're also having to exert energy by moving around the ring. So great pressure fighters have a tendency to be able to apply pressure without doing much to them to drain their gas tank, but they're able to drain other fighters. You tend to see it more so with vets, to be honest with you. I know Kiko Martinez is very good at that. Liam Smith, obviously, I mentioned, is very good at that. There are fighters out there who are very good at applying pressure without really emptying their gas tank, but making the other fighter work overtime. And all they're really doing is they're closing the distance with their footwork. They're staying in punching range, but they're safe enough that if you do throw it, it's just going to be blocking them. And the opponent is having to kind of think, okay, keep them off and punch and move. And it all gets a bit too much for the opponent. Liam Smith is very good at that. Now, Eubank Jr. has never really fought a pressure fighter like that. Arthur Abraham, although he had a better career, you would say that, definitely two-weight world champion, than Liam Smith. By the time Eubank fought him, Abraham would just wait for you to do whatever. He was really... It was amazing over in Germany. Well, I suppose he wasn't fighting the greatest of opposition, to be fair, but it was amazing no one beat him before Ramirez did, because if you can just keep him at bay with a jab, you pretty much were going to win the fight. So at that point, Abraham, the pressure wasn't the same. Spike O'Sullivan, his pressure isn't really sophisticated. It's more just rinse and repeat, try and land shots and just take whatever the other guy's given. The defense isn't amazing. Same with Nick Blackwell. And we forget that Eubank boxed a good bit in the Nick Blackwell fight. We forget that. Now, I know, no disrespect, Nick Blackwell is not Liam Smith. And, even if he had not suffered those injuries against Eubank, he never would have been Liam Smith. He never would have had a career like Liam Smith. He was a domestic level fighter. That was what Nick Blackwell was. But Eubank has shown in the past that he is comfy on the back foot. He can fight off the back foot. Under Roy Jones, he is looking to counter punch a lot more. And if I have one critique of it, now I still don't know if Roy Jones is necessarily the guy for Eubank. Yes, he's made improvements. But with Eubank, there's certain times now it could be different now because it's been about a year. But there was times that we've seen him where it was like he was stuck between two styles. He'd see openings with opponents. He'd want to let the combinations go, but Roy Jones wanted him to stick to his boxing. And he was almost in no man's land in the ring. If you look at it, you can kind of see he's trying to get a combination, but then he's boxing, and then he's kind of overthinking himself. Now, against Liam Williams, he looked a lot better. He was just boxing a bit more, and he was just doing his thing. Prior to that, he looked a bit off. Against Liam Smith will give him opportunities to let his uppercuts go. And I think Eubank Jr. would be well advised to say, if he's giving you opportunities to let your short shots go, you take them opportunities. Because Eubank is very good with uppercuts, very good at hooks, very fast, very hard. When Eubank Jr. really wants to get power in it, if you go and look at his fight with Avni Yildirim, his feet are almost bet down into the canvas. Because he's trying his best. He's really standing on his punches, really sitting down and trying to wind as much power as he can into them. If you go back and look at the third round knockout, you see it like that. He's really standing, balls of his feet just bet in, just trying to generate maximum velocity. I don't know if Liam Smith is going to give him those kind of opportunities, but if he does, he's going to have trouble. For Liam Smith, my keys for him to win would be to try and not let Eubank build up too much of an early lead. Because Eubank against Liam Williams, he actually slowed down a lot as the fight went on. And the reason why I'm using this is you can only go by your last fight. This was his last fight. He slowed down a lot more as the rounds went on. And he actually let Liam Williams back into the fight. So a fight that was, for the first few rounds, it looked a formality. Eubank his work output stopped. He didn't do as much in the kind of mid to late rounds, and he really let Liam Williams come back into it. What Liam Smith is not going to want to do, he's not going to want to start as slow as he has in the past, and he's going to want to keep Eubank Jr. working. And if Eubank Jr. doesn't does slow down and does stop working, he's going to want to try and outwork himself. And that's what he's going to want to do. He's going to want to go to Eubank's body. Eubank is going to be the stronger guy. So probably no use getting into, because Smith's coming up in weight. We need to remember that. So I would imagine that there's no use trying to fight up close and really, like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're in a clinch, you would favour Eubank every day. Would just have the physical strength over Liam Smith. But if we're talking about up close, if he can get some of his shots off, like the shots he got off against Fowler, the short right hands, looking to set you up with a hook, and then he returns with a little right hand, which was one of the shots that actually dropped Anthony Fowler, Eubank could be in trouble. But Eubank's always shown a very sturdy chin. Liam Smith has good power, but not anything to write home about. And when you look at Liam Smith in the past, when he fought Canelo, now it was a good few years ago now, it was over 6 years ago, but Canelo was having so much success with his uppercuts, and the shot that actually took Liam Smith out was a hook to the head followed by a hook to the body. It was a left hook. Canelo set it up with a little kind of nothing hook to the head and then turned it into a body shot, because Liam Smith tucks up so tight that you could throw that to the head, it'll hit there, he won't move his arms down, and Canelo was able to just underneath the elbow, boom, in, and that was all she wrote. Look at that combination that you threw. And if Eubank I'm sure could do that as well. You hit him in the right spot in the body, they're going down. So my keys for both guys: Liam Smith needs to start fast. He needs to take advantage of Eubank if he does try and slow down. He needs to be defensively, keep a high guard, chin glued to your chest, and try and... Liam Smith's head movement isn't too bad. He tends to like moving to the left a lot more. So just try and negate any big shots that are coming your way, and be very wary of being caught as you come in, because Eubank seems to be really getting his hand on the counter punching. So when you're coming in, jabs can go in, they're very well timed, they're very fast, and as Liam Williams, they hurt. So be careful of that. Also be very careful of the right hand. Don't let the lazy jab that you were doing in the early rounds against Fowler show itself in this fight, because Chris Eubank Jr., in my opinion, is faster. Might not hit as hard, but he's faster, and the shots that hurt the most are the ones you don't see coming. You're Eubank Jr. If Liam Smith is starting slow, you look to start fast. If you see opportunities presenting themselves where you can let them uppercuts go, let the uppercuts go. If needs be, you need to revert to type, the old type, let those uppercuts go. Try and just pepper him, and then take a little step to the side. He'll have to reset, because he often does have to reset himself, Liam Smith. Take a step to the side. If you want to get back on your boxing and look to counter punch, do. If Liam Smith is coming in reckless, if the low jab is coming, you're going to be countering that like that with the right hand, because the right hand over the top is there for Eubank. He's got the longer arms, so he should theoretically be able to land those shots on Liam Smith if he's coming in with his guard not fully tight. If he's coming in jabbing with the jab being brought back too low, you're going to find him with that. I got to give a pick on this, and the more I think about it, the more I just see this fight being a Eubank Jr. fight. You know, I was siding with him anyway going into this fight, but I could see how this was going to be competitive, and I still do to an extent think it's not going to be a shutout or anything like that. But I just can't see anything other than a Eubank Jr. win. I'm going to go with Eubank Jr. I'm going to go with Eubank on points. Unanimous decision in probably a 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3 type of fight. I think that's what we're going to be looking at here. I think Liam Smith will have his moments, but for the most part it's going to be Eubank. And if anyone does get dropped, I would imagine it's going to be Liam Smith. Now again, Liam Smith's shown a good chin in his career. He's only been down against Canelo and Munguia, so I think that's who he's only been down against anyway. So he's always shown a good chin. But I think that Eubank Jr. is improving as a fighter. You know, I still don't know if Roy Jones is the guy for him, but he has improved certain aspects of Eubank, which is a good thing. So we'll need to see. We'll wait and see how he looks this weekend. Of course, we're doing a live watch along for it. That's for definite, 100%. I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to watch it. So we'll all do a watch along. That should be good fun. I haven't done one of them in a long time. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens now in this fight. Again, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good card, and I think it's going to be a good fight. I really do. My pick is Eubank Jr. on points. And just on a side note, the build up to this fight, Eubank Jr., I wish we had this version of Eubank, the character, who's just trolling Liam Smith, and because he's hilarious. This Eubank Jr., if he'd have been around 8-9 years ago, he'd be a big... And Eubank Jr. was a star. but he'd be a bigger star. His star would burn brighter, because this guy is just, he's hilarious. He really is good at trolling. I wish we had this Eubank a few years ago, and not the kind of, because Eubank Jr. couldn't really play, and I think that's what it was. It was a play. Eubank Jr. couldn't really play the arrogant kind of villain too well, because you knew deep down that's probably not really him. This more kind of like, he is trolling and he is saying that like, I'm just so much better, I can eat KFC. He's doing it in a joke way. It's really rubbing all the Smiths up the wrong way. I mean, it's not just Liam Smith. I've seen Callum, I've seen Paul Smith. They're all kind of getting a bit peeved off by Eubank, and it is kind of funny to watch, I have to say. So again, my pick, long-winded one, my pick, Eubank Jr. on points. I want to know what you guys' thoughts in the comment section below are. Who do you have, Liam Smith, Eubank Jr.? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. Review of the week is on tomorrow. Live stream. So I want to get a live in before the watch along. So I have a thumbnail ready. It's just a case of, will I get time tonight? If I do, because I like doing the Sunday lives. I do like the Sunday lives. But if I don't have time tonight, tomorrow evening, 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're going live. One or the other. If I have time tonight, I will do it tonight. If not, we'll do it tomorrow. But obviously Saturday night, watch along, boom, we're going to do it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button, if you could. Let's get your boy up to 10k. Hopefully we can be near, if not there, after this weekend. I'll talk to you. Peace.